Good evening, friends. Myself, Dr. Nidhi Darbari, in My Education Treasure. In my previous video on feedback of micro teaching, I had discussed about the steps of feedback of micro teaching. Today, in my present video, I am going to tell you about the principles and sources of feedback of micro teaching. Let us now start with the principles of giving effective feedback. In providing feedback, a teacher educator should follow the basic principles. The first one is to give feedback when the student teacher is ready, physically or emotionally, so that they are receptive. Give feedback soon after the event. Although for knowledge consolidation, a delay can be beneficial. The next one is ask the student how they think went first. This will open the conversation and let the teacher see how well the student is judging his own performance. Do not overload. Identify 2 or 3 key messages. Feedback is for the recipient, not the giver. The next one is the supervisor should focus on the positive points of the student teacher first. This will develop self-confidence and motivate the student teacher to improve in the use of the skill. After appreciation of the supervisor should draw their attention to other components of the skill which require improvement. Give feedback privately wherever possible, especially negative feedback, and suggest alternative behaviors. The next point is feedback needs to be part of the overall communication process. Use skills such as rapport, developing respect and trust with the student. Stay in the here and now and on the observed task. Don't bring up previous mistakes. Be clear in giving feedback and link this to the student's overall professional development. Focus on behaviors that can be changed and the task itself, not personality traits. Talk about and describe specific behaviors, giving examples where possible. Consider the content of the message, the process of giving feedback, and the congruence between verbal and non-verbal messages. Encourage self-reflection. This will involve posing open questions such as, did it go as planned? If not, why not? If you were doing it again, what would you do the same next time and why? The supervisor should be careful that feedback session takes place more effectively under informal settings. It should be suggestive and not prescriptive. He should act as a friend and not as an administrator. The next is the sources of feedback. The sources of providing feedback can be organized into 2 classes, live sources and mechanical sources. Live source of providing feedback includes college supervisors, peer supervisors, students and student teacher himself. First, we'll discuss about college supervisor. College supervisor's feedback is the main source of providing feedback in teacher training institutions. College supervisor's feedback is very useful in colleges where videotapes are not available and the use of audio tapes is limited. This source of feedback has following advantages: availability of competent, qualified and mature persons, due regards for competent experts, and ensure better communication. Peer supervisor. Peer supervisor is another important live source of feedback. The student teacher provides feedback to his fellow student teachers. The lesson of the student teacher is observed, analyzed, and information regarding the teaching behavior is provided by his peers. In the teacher training college, the student-teacher ratio is generally much higher than 1:10. Because of the high student-teacher ratio, organization of micro-teaching program for student-teacher becomes difficult. It was therefore considered as whether peer could also be used for providing feedback. Peer feedback has following advantages: peers' maturity level, good company, and tension free climate. The next point is students. The third source of feedback is students, who are the real judges of discrimination between desirable and undesirable teaching behavior of the teachers. They can be critical in their observation. Students can tell what type of teachers they like more and why. This source of feedback has some limitations: non-availability of students, immaturity of students, professionally unequipped, lower status of students, and pedagogical problems. The next point is student teacher himself. The fourth and the last source of feedback is the student teacher himself. He can introspect and analyze his own teaching behavior and find out the weak and strong points. He recalls the model lesson demonstrated by the supervisors and peers. Self-feedback has the only advantage of being objective and accurate if received from audio or visual tape recorder. If you found the video to be informative and interesting, I request you all to please give a like to my video to motivate me, share it with others, and subscribe it so that whenever I upload a new video, you will get a notification. The next source is mechanical source. The mechanical source of providing feedback includes audio tape recorder, which records the verbal behavior, video tape recorder, which records verbal as well as non-verbal behavior. Machines do not provide any feedback. These are meant for recording the lesson. After the lesson, the audio tape recorder is played and desirable and undesirable behavior can be identified. The students listen to audio or views from videotape. The student may compare his performance with that of the supervisor's model lesson recorded on the audio or videotape. Videotape and audio tape are being used extensively in technologically advanced countries for providing feedback to student teachers. Most of the teacher training colleges are not equipped with videotaping facilities, and so the audio tape is only used for feedback. A student can have self-feedback from videotape and audio tape. Mechanical feedback has following advantages: objectivity and accuracy, replay facility, source of motivation. Feedback has the following limitations, that is, high cost and absence of human interaction. Thank you very much for patiently watching the video, and don't forget to subscribe.